World's largest iceberg is breaking apart. What happens next? At 23A, the world's largest iceberg is disintegrating, and satellite images have captured a massive chunk breaking off from this trillion-ton colossus. More than twice the size of Greater London, a 23A has been drifting north in the South Atlantic Ocean since 2020, but now its fate is uncertain. Scientists are closely monitoring its movements, fearing that as it continues to break apart, it could threaten wildlife on South Georgia Island, a crucial habitat for penguins, seals, and other marine life. Could this be the final days of one of the most monumental icebergs ever recorded? At its peak, a 23A covered over 1,540 square miles, 3,987 square kilometers, and was 1,312 feet, 400 meters, thick. Weighing nearly 1 trillion tons, it was one of the most stable icebergs on Earth for decades. Originally part of Antarctica's Filchner ice shelf, it broke away in 1986, but remained grounded on the ocean floor for over 30 years. It wasn't until 2020 that it started moving north, carried by the powerful Antarctic circumpolar current. But now, cracks are forming, and on January 2025, satellite images confirmed that a massive section, spanning 31 square miles, 80 square kilometers, had split from the main iceberg. Scientists say this is the first major sign that A23A is falling apart. What happens when icebergs break? Why does this matter? Icebergs naturally break off over time, but when megabergs like A23 break apart, they can have serious consequences. Ecosystem disruptions. If a 23A collides with South Georgia, it could block access to feeding grounds, cutting off vital food sources for penguins and seals. This has happened before. Grounded icebergs in the past killed thousands of penguin chicks and seal pups by forcing their parents to take longer hunting trips. Unpredictable fragmentation. When large icebergs start breaking, the process can accelerate rapidly. Some disintegrate within weeks, while others linger for years. British Antarctic Survey scientist Andrew Mears explained, "It's hard to say if this will now break apart quickly or remain intact for longer." Sea level and climate impacts. Icebergs don't directly raise sea levels when they melt, as they're already floating. However, their movement and melting influence ocean currents and temperatures, potentially affecting weather patterns. Is A23 a threat to South Georgia? Right now, a 23A is moving north at about 30 miles per day. Its trajectory is leading it dangerously close to South Georgia, a British overseas territory. Scientists are monitoring whether it will remain intact or fragment further before reaching the island. If it remains whole, it could become grounded near the island, potentially blocking marine life from accessing their feeding areas. However, if it breaks into smaller pieces, it poses less of a threat, as wildlife can maneuver around the fragments. Glaciologist Soledad Terranti, currently in Antarctica, stated, "The exact path of a 23A depends on ocean currents. It will keep heading north, but its fate is uncertain." Despite its current status as the world's largest iceberg, a 23A's title is temporary. Every iceberg eventually breaks apart and melts, a process accelerated by warmer waters as it moves north. The previous record holder, a 76, broke away from the Weddell Sea in 2021, only to fragment into pieces within 2 years. Scientists believe A23A will follow the same fate, but how long it will take remains the biggest question. For now, a 23A remains an awe-inspiring sight, stretching as far as the eye can see. Richard Seide, a videographer who captured drone footage of the megaberg, described it as mind-bogglingly big, larger than anything we can truly comprehend. As scientists continue to track its progress, one thing is certain: the fate of a 23A will be one of the most watched climate stories of 2025. Will it disintegrate into smaller fragments, or will it strike South Georgia with devastating consequences? Only time will tell.